No, I want no countdown because we in the building. You know what I'm saying? Another episode. I'm late, like I'm always is, but that's why I got my brother with me, my little brother. You know what I'm saying? For this episode of the Nation of Imagination on the Patreon. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you download the Patreon. You know what I'm saying? Public Enemies Podcast, Patreon. You know what I'm saying? Where you see my brother, the champ right now, the Waco
Yes,
kid. You know what I'm
sir.
saying?
Well, as of this recording.
As you know what I'm saying, or whenever we decide to give it to you, you know what I'm saying? It's a mystery. The mystery team's in the building, you know what I'm saying? The two-man killer squad, you know what I'm saying? Myself, my name is Hemi Uso, aka Yeah, that's me. You see that? Got the Waco kid, you know what I'm saying? Benjamin, that's what I call him. I just call him
Yes,
Benjamin because
sir.
he been Benjamin. And
Yes, sir.
we're here for another episode of the Nation of Imagination, where we take your greatest freaking wrestling moments and then we flip it on top of their head and then we
Yes,
laugh at it.
sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Make sure before
sir.
everything starts out, make sure you follow the podcast, Public Enemies Podcast. You know what I mean? On Twitter, Instagram. Follow Oh
Enemies
My God
PE3.
Graham. You know what I'm saying? Enemies P3 everywhere we go. Follow Graham because he's not here, but you got another one coming up later. Follow the Patreon so you can see the time capsules because let me tell y'all something. Them shits,
Bro.
dog. Them shits, nigga. Like,
Yo,
I'm just glad that I have somebody that I can share my hatred of Eddie Winslow and Frank
bro.
Mitchell with.
Bro, there's definitely some more slander coming up. I think the episode that me and Banks did this week, it was a ton of like Zach Morris slander on there too.
Yo, listen, y'all. When I hop on one of his episodes, you know what I'm saying? It's definitely gonna be a Saved by the Bell episode. It's probably gonna be the one that Jesse Spano was fucking high as
Bro,
shit.
yo, we got to, bro.
I'm
Got
so
to.
excited.
I was like,
Time,
damn,
time,
bro.
time.
Like he was getting high
The
off of 5 hour energy.
bruh, you over here getting high off of placebo pills, and then you still, bruh, like she like, man, see, this is why I'll never believe that. You know what I'm saying? The Caucasoid race is the superior race because you niggas can't even handle placebo pills. You know what I'm saying? We handle crack and did just fine. And sold it right back to y'all.
Bruh. Getting
Like,
president,
niggas couldn't even handle.
smoke crack.
You know what I'm saying? Look, the president was smoking crack running Canada. But that's not what y'all here for. We are here
Nah.
for this episode of the Nation of Imagination. You know what I'm saying? The NOI, the NOI. You know what I'm saying? And this episode is called The Three Heartbeats. Shoot, 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 shoot. Now, what that means, y'all, is like one of the biggest things that ever happened in wrestling was the fact that the third man of the Outsiders was added at Bash at the Beach in 1996, which probably had one of the best opening matches in a WCW pay-per-view history. Saying shout out to Rey Mysterio and Psychosis, but who cares about that? Because the whole thing was about who is going to be the third man, the third man, the third man, the third man. And it's just so happened to be a bum ass nigga by the name of Terry.
Bro. Like
Who
they pushed that. Like if you watch those nitros leading up to it, like for months, they were like, yo, man, it's a third man, it's a third man. Like people didn't know the third man was for the longest. People was like pulling out their license, their driver's license, looking in the wall, thinking they're the third man. It's like, yo, man, nigga, am
it's
I the
me.
third man?
It's me.
Is
Is it
me?
me?
Is my auntie the third man? Is my uncle the third man? Is granddaddy the third man? Like nobody knew. Like people were trying like
where's my dad? Where's my dad been? You been out here being the third man and not taking care of me, father?
not even being the first man.
Bro, you went to the pack. You went to go get a pack of cigarettes. You decided to be the third man of the NWO, of the New World Organization.
And like they didn't even know. Like Eric Bischoff says a lot. He was like, "Yo, man, look, I didn't even know initially who I was gonna get to be the third man." He was like, "I went and asked like a bunch of different people, and like I thought like this person was gonna be the third man, that person was gonna be the third man, and if Hulk Hogan fell through, I don't know what he was gonna do because this whole storyline is really stolen from like Japanese wrestling. Like he like Eric Bischoff's like, yo, he makes no like secrets about it. He's like, yeah, like I lifted that shit from like Japanese wrestling. He's like, why do you think like I was so big in that shit? Like I was stealing storylines from over that left and right. Why do you think I set up a chapter of the NWO in New Japan, bro?
Because so they were the first Bullet Club before the Bullet Club.
Bro, facts. Like look at like Scott Norton was IWGP heavyweight champion while Hulk Hogan was running the states.
Yo, Scott Norton was really a fucking, you know what I'm saying, other than being a piece of shit and a liar, talking about how fucking Hawk was going to beat up Too Cold Scorpio. Here, right, nigga.
Yeah.
Fuck is you talking about, nigga? Niggas just
Yo,
be lying, blood. Like,
and the look on his face, he already knew. He was like, yo, man, I already know Too Cold is going to see this shit. He kept what he said to a minimum. He was like, bro, look, I don't know if it went down like that. He made sure he didn't like shit on Too Cold because he already knew, like, yo, man, if he fold that nigga, and he gonna fold me up for sure. Like, Too Cold is still in good shape. Like,
he will kill you. I think Too Cold Scorpio could do a 450 splash right now.
He definitely can. Like, he's still moving on the indies, and like, and you got to look at that shit. Not only is he like moving like he was back then, he got old man strength now, bro. If you've never heard of or felt old man strength, let me assure you, that shit is real. I remember one time I was just playing around with my dad. I was like, yo, man, look, square up, square up. This man punched me in my shoulder, bro. I was feeling that shit for like 2 weeks.
Bro, you imagine? But old niggas just know how to do random ass shit. It's like old niggas know pressure points. You know what I'm saying? Imagine a nigga just hit you, you know what I'm saying? You try to fight a nigga, he just go like, you just...
Your whole body don't work. The whole left side of your body go numb. It's like, yo, man, what's wrong with you?
What happened to my arm? You know what I'm saying? This is not what we signed up for. So, but yeah, I'm saying like we usually do. You know what I'm saying nation of imagination. I'm saying we go through the whole little story. I'm saying the backstory of what happened because we just been talking about that, just adding our own shit. That's why I want to do this shit with my motherfucking brother. But so we got third man, as y'all don't know, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash show up mid 1996, fresh off of getting fired from WWF. You know what I mean? One of them got fired from a crybaby match with 1-2-3 Kid at at the Final Four in your house, and then no, not the Final Four in your house, the year before that, and then because a lot of people don't know is Scott Hall is supposed to be in that Hollywood Backlot Brawl in WrestleMania 12, but he ended up getting in trouble because you know what I'm saying. Hey man, sometimes real niggas like to get high. I do. And you know what I'm saying, he might have just been doing a little too much, you know what I mean? And Kevin Nash, you know what I mean, he was on his way out too because like the word is, you know what I'm saying, not to slander him, I'm saying my GOAT, Bret Hart, but the word is like one of the things that pushed him out was the fact that he had a match with him at a pay-per-view where it was a cage match between him and Bret Hart, and they were supposed to set up the Undertaker match coming up at WrestleMania 12. You know what I'm saying? Where he came up under the ring and then pulled him underneath the ring and shit, that type shit. So like when that happened, he was supposed to do that shit, but the fact was, I guess the talks were that like Bret Hart was supposed to be just like out, like you were supposed to be like I was supposed to win, so you got to act like you look like you're going to lose, and then Undertaker just helps like fucking pulls me under the ring, and then you get out. But you know what I'm saying? Old GOAT, you know what I'm saying? Just can't look too weak. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm gonna escape the cage as you're getting pulled out. You know what I'm saying? Because that still works, right? And then I guess Undertaker was like, "Yo, can you think of anybody but yourself?" No, Mark Calloway, I can't. That's why you wear purple gloves and I don't. I just beat you at fucking Royal Rumble fucking a month ago. You should know how I get down. But the whole little point of that shit was like he got kicked out of that, so he left for that shit. So they all went to fucking WCW same time, set up like a takeover to where like we're taking over the WCW. You know, like you know why I'm here, you know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here type shit. Blah blah blah. I got my big homie with me. He hella tall.
Adjective.
Blah blah blah. Here we are. And we got a third man, which sets up the entire Bash at the Beach scenario to where it was, what was it? Sting, Lex Luger's bum ass, who we'll get to in another episode, y'all. Because trust me, if you want, like, I'm gonna slander Lex Luger in the next episode, like Like he slanders Frank Mitchell and Eddie Winslow. Lex Luger might be the Eddie Winslow of fucking. Actually, he might be the Eddie Winslow of professional wrestling. I think he is.
Try to do it. He did try to do a lot of things he had no business doing, like being
Dog.
a baby face and winning the title while the crowd is throwing like trash and shit at you. It's like, yo, man, that's like Eddie Winslow on the talent show episode with Waldo and Steve doing like singing "Heard It Through the Grapevine." Like, yo, man, like all three of you have no business being up here. What are y'all doing? And then they were like, yo, we came in second place. I can't believe we came in second place. I was like, y'all are garbage. That's y'all lucky y'all placed it all.
But y'all lost. Anyway. Y'all lost to Donna Summers. Like you realize that Donna Summers, right?
Bro, who wouldn't lose to her?
Fucking, you know what I'm saying? Eddie Winslow will lose 3 times out of 3. Just like Lex Luger will lose 9 times. How would you, like, first off, this is what I'm going to talk about first. Because, like, the first little 3-man match that they made, because it was supposed to be a 3-on-3, so niggas was prepared for that shit. But even back then, like, I'm pretty sure Grant would appreciate this part, you know what I'm saying? Because we'll give Sting some love, you know what I mean? All them niggas painted their faces like Sting. Because there was nobody more WCW than Sting. And then it was just so fucking hilarious how it turned out to be, how like niggas was really like, soon as the NWO formed, the first nigga that they turned to was like, oh, Sting, nigga, you the one that's gonna turn, nigga.
Yeah, like that's how they treated him for the entire time. Like Hacksaw Jim Duggan did like an episode of Nitro. They're like, who do you think is like the person who is like the Judas of NWO? He was like, man, no doubt it's Sting, man. Sting definitely gonna stab WCW in the back. And then like a week later, they asked him like the same question, like, yo, man, look, so what's going on with Sting? He's like, I don't know what's going on with Sting. Sting, like his heart beats for WCW. I'm like, wasn't you just saying something else last week, bros? What's the deal?
Yo, you just said like, hold on. Time out. First off, Hacksaw, you just said that Sting was the biggest snitch, but then you were just like, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Who knows? I'm like, what you mean, who knows, nigga? I know, nigga.
Like, well, yo, he do be getting like, down with us.
But niggas was really was really trying to blame Sting. Like the only nigga that's been WCW from the time that they got there, they blame Sting for that shit. But the whole I'm saying how the whole story goes, y'all. I'm saying before we get long-winded, I'm saying, but it's Patreon, so I can do what the fuck I want in this bitch. This is our shit. You're paying $5.99, $3.99, or $9.99 for this, and keep doing it. Follow the Patreon. I'm saying it again, and your shirts are on the way, so stop crying. But like I'm saying, like they really, like even after all that shit, that's how you know Sting was a real one. He was just like, listen, dog, like I'm not even gonna let you niggas get to me. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show up anyway, and then we're gonna fucking and then like they were still getting washed by these niggas. So they're still getting washed by the fucking outsiders, and it's your 3 best people in WCW. And then who comes up? He's American made. Best Hulk Hogan theme that he's ever had in his life, next to Voodoo Child that he stole. But
bro,
that American made, nigga, that shit then there should be the fucking. That's right up there with America, fuck yeah. And then the original Hulk Hogan theme, I'm a real American,
bro.
So, can you remember that? Like, remember that when that shit first hit, nigga? I was like,
yo, I remember like I would watch my uncle's like old like tapes and stuff like that. So I had always heard like, especially like on video games and stuff like that, when you play as Hulk Hogan, you get like the real American theme. Like I think it was like, I think I had like my brother's best friend had WrestleMania 18 for the GameCube, and that one was on there. And I was like, yeah, man. I was like, this Hulk Hogan theme. I was like, this shit hit. And then I was watching like WCW tapes that my uncle had. I was like, what is this American made shit, bro? What you got going on here? Like, this a remix?
Nigga, I was over there like this and shit. Like, hold on, bro. This nigga Hulk Hogan got this shit cracking, nigga. And he had Shaq, you know what I'm saying? When in his first match, nigga, he had Shaq there, nigga, in a Powerade shirt. Nigga, nobody drinks Powerade.
Mm-mm.
But you guys know what happened. American Made, not even American Made comes out. Hulk Hogan comes out with with just one mustache.
No music.
What's he doing? He's here to help. Is he here to help? And the only person that was cognizant enough to know what was going on was who? Bobby the Brain Heenan. Bobby the
No.
Brain knew exactly what was going on. He was like, could he be the
He
third man?
he almost spoiled that shit. Like they had to kind of like nudge him. They was like, hey bro, you need to, chill it, because like this is like we're still trying to get this shit over. It was like he was like, okay, yeah, I'm
Oh, yeah,
wild.
you
And
right.
then like a
You right.
second later, he got to come back off. He's like, I knew it. Didn't I just tell you that? And it kind of made it like maybe it's just like one of the heel things, like everybody is a suspect or whatever. But yeah, Hulk Hogan shows up, third man, and the rest is history. Like, yeah, killed WCW.
And then even though I hate Terry Bollea as a human being, even though he has a daughter who has donated to the black community a lot with her
Bro,
mouth with her mouth and private parts.
bro, hey, look, not for nothing. Jamie Foxx says she smelled like bologna.
Oh, no, not even the good bologna. I'm saying the homemade bologna. You smell like OSCCER.
Bro, but go on, what you
Like,
say?
she pops out, you know what I mean? Even though, like, listen, I think Hulk Hogan that at that day might have given the best, like niggas, like the way niggas be sucking the fucking the pipe bomb promo that CM Punk did before there was a pipe bomb promo. Hogan gave that promo when he was just like, "Listen, I've been in I've been doing things since the 1980s, brother. I came over here. I made millions of dollars. I came to the WCW to be the best. And right now, I'm bored." I was like, "Oh, that's some gangster shit right there."
Yo, and not only that, like right after that, like this is the height of like that age, but where we see wrestlers where they're not just like wrestlers at that time, they're like rock stars. Like this is the first time they've actually been rock stars since he was doing like Hulkamania, like late 80s, like early 90s, because it kind of like wrestling had died off for a bit. And like he would like this is what completely rejuvenates wrestling. Like when we get to this moment, and then it forces WWF to step up their game. WCW ends up making mistakes because they put the ball in nWo's hands, and like the rest of it is what we know now. But
No, this is not what this show is
what
about,
if,
nigga.
but what if that didn't happen? What if Hulk Hogan wasn't that third man? What if someone else was that third man?
You talking
Like
about
that's
someone
what
else?
y'all hear.
Yo, this is what you're
Yeah.
here for. What if it's somewhat like they said, let's get to the second part. Look at the segue. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he is the champ for a reason. I need you, man. I appreciate that. What if
See, I'm like
what if the third man was man by like this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know
the
what's going
name
on
of
right now, but what if it was this
HBK,
man? Oh, oh, oh,
and
I
like, yo,
think I'm
what
cute.
if?
You know I'm sexy. First off, nigga,
Yo,
I'm not popping. Listen, HBK ain't popping up unless you fucking got my music playing. First off, that's not happening.
bro, that's like, yeah, bro. This episode is about what if Shawn Michaels was the third man instead of Hulk Hogan, and we kind of gotta step it back to like at least like 94 ish,
Nah,
1994.
five ish. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Yeah,
think
yeah, right
1990,
around.
because 95. That's when they wanted to bring like that's when the WWF was doing WWF shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, as much as you niggas complain about the WWE, the reason why niggas stick with WWE for so long is because we've been seeing this shit for fucking 30 years, my nigga. Like, they've been giving the biggest nigga the belt and all the fans since Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? I remember they were trying to make Paul Orndorff the fucking man for a little bit. Even Lex Luger. Like, they're going to go with the biggest. It just so happened that fucking Kevin Nash is the coolest, might be the second coolest white nigga to ever live. Probably the first, you know what I mean? I think he's top
Yo,
three. His top three is
definitely
like
top three,
him.
right up there with
Yeah.
Doris Burke.
You know what I'm saying? Him, Doris Burke, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean Bernie Sanders, early Bernie Sanders.
Okay,
So
what people be
so
added to it. What
like,
happened?
we'll ask some people later. We'll have a whole new episode of Nation Imagination. Who the coolest white niggas ever? He, like he no to keep it real. You saying do a callback? You know what I'm saying? Long term booking back to our fucking podcast, Enemies PE3. Follow that shit on all platforms and in the Patreon. Um, we made a term White Debo, right? Who was the original White Debo? Might be Kevin Nash.
It is definitely Kevin Nash, and I think like this whole like the catalyst behind Third Man starts around the time of the steroid trial when Vince was thinking that he was gonna go to jail. Like it was like a big thing. It was like, yo, it like for the steroid trial, they were like, yo, Vince is giving steroids out to the locker room. He's facilitating it and everything like that. And I think like, yo, Hulk Hogan, I think we start right there with Hulk Hogan, like on the witness stand saying, like, yo, all right, he didn't give anything to anybody in the locker room. We went out and found that shit for ourselves. We went out and did that for ourselves. It had nothing to do with him. I think right after that, Vince McMahon is so moved by this show of solidarity, by this show of love, that he already knows that, Hulk Hogan is out the door, like offered a deal by WCW, that he's just like, you know what? Like, he pulled him to the side after the trial, like, yo, let me holler at you, bro. Like, you really stuck your neck out for me right there. Like, bro, maybe you're not a dinosaur after all. Maybe you're not the past generation. Maybe we could flip what you do and do something else with you. And I think we get that like that heel turn early. I think we get it like about a good solid let me see. I don't really think we get it early. I think like maybe he might push. I don't think we get the heel turn early. I think he pushes through like the babyface stuff as like a thank you gift. Like, okay, well, we're gonna keep pushing like the babyface stuff, and it works out like in WCW where it's like, yo, the fans start turning on it, saying that we don't want this shit anymore.
But like Shawn Michaels as a third man, that's what's so fucking crazy. Because like Shawn Michaels as a third man, if he pops up at Bash in the Beach instead of Hulk Hogan, and then Hulk Hogan just happens, like you talking about saying just kind of like jump ship back to WWF, he's gonna get that 96 Shawn Michaels run. And then instead of Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 12 in an Iron Man match,
Yo, it's Hulk Hogan against Bret Hart at the Iron Man match. Like, bro. And I think that would be what kind of pushes Shawn Michaels to the edge. It's just like, yo, man, look, I've been working like on my craft. I've been the biggest heel. Look at everything, all the work I've been doing with Bret. Like, why does he win the Rumble and get to have that match at WrestleMania against Bret? Like, I've been the one to do it. And I think like Vince doesn't like I think Vince is like, yo, man, look, I don't see it. I think he still has like the mind of like big guys over everything. Like Hulk Hogan is obviously like the body that he was when he first came to WCW, where he's weaned off the steroids to kind of like get the people off his trail. And then he eventually goes right back to it and no one says anything.
This is a word, you know what I'm saying? His voodoo child and my fucking new steroid body because I'm not getting tested no more. Like, first off, Vince is gonna let that nigga fucking, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and take some of them A-Rod gummies. I don't know if you know about these gummies that I know, you know what I'm saying? I'm in bed with these niggas named Balco. You ain't heard of them yet, you know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? They got these gummies, you know what I'm saying, that tastes like the shit that your kids like to eat. Just don't give it to them. Because last thing you need is strong ass kids running around, you know what I'm saying, smacking you and your wife around.
Yo, facts, bro. Like, but I think that is like that whole 96 like Iron Man match would be the catalyst for like Shawn Michaels leaving, where he's like, you know what? This is the land of the giants. I can't really do anything over here. He kind of like links up with Nash and Hall and it's like, yo, man, look, y'all hiring? Like, what's the deal over there? Like,
what's going, bro? Because if you really want to start it, you know what I'm saying. If you want to get into our fucking fantasy booking, you know what I'm saying, fantasy booking bag, you got to start that shit. So the one was the fucking because they had their Diesel and Shawn Michaels had the WrestleMania 11 match when, and then if this shit's going on right now, this is what I think Shawn Michaels is thinking because he was in his fucking bag. Like, listen, dog. Like, listen, you got Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow in front of us.
Yo,
That's strike
big
one.
facts.
That's strike 1 and 2. You feel me? So like that's strike 1 and 2. So now like okay, all right, you know what I mean? You gonna resign? Like we'll see. We'll see how that's going. And then like we gotta think about like the whole because like right after that match, Shawn Michaels was on his super babyface run just to see how niggas will fucking gravitate towards him because bro, like Shawn Michaels was the shit in 1996 and 1995 on. You feel me? Because right after that
Yo,
they had the first In Your House, and then it was right to Shawn Michaels wins the Intercontinental Championship from Jeff Jarrett, the Ultimate Hustler. I'm saying the Big Beach of pro wrestling, and then it goes right into the shit like and people don't really talk about how Shawn Michaels and Diesel and the Click really just fucking just like ram run shot over the entire WWF while Bret Hart was
it
like,
was
no, leave me alone.
it was really like that was pre NWO. If you really want to get down into it, like the Click is like really like the blueprint for the NWO, just minus Shawn Michaels and Triple H. And I think that would have been like the reason why it had been so easy to like hook him into that and do that. I think like right after that, like after he's like, you know what, fuck this, I'm done. Like you, like, bro, do you not see what I've been doing from like literally WrestleMania 11 to the build up for WrestleMania 12? And you're not gonna have me in the main event. You're not gonna put the title on me. You're not gonna have me against this match with Brett. Like, cause Shawn, like not Shawn Michaels, cause Vince McMahon was notorious for like planning those WrestleMania main events out like damn near 6 or 7 months in advance. So I think
Yeah,
like
in
at that
advance.
steroid trial, Vince has already told like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, like, yo, man, look, this is what I'm thinking we doing for the main event. This is the plans I'm drawing up.
Yeah.
But like Hulk Hogan, like not squealing on him and like sending him to jail, like moves him so much where he's like, yo, man, I'm throwing this all out here. Hulkamania is back. We're just doing this whole run thing. And I think Shawn Michaels is just like, I think this is like the pre like 2005 SummerSlam beef. I think it's like, yo, man, look, y'all don't want to like look, bro. Hulkamania is dead. Like this shit is out of here. Like, what are you doing? And Vince is just like, yo, man, look, like he didn't like snitch on me. So like I'm trying to do right by him. And then
He loyal, you know what I'm saying? He
like
like the ARF, even though ARF told on that nigga.
exactly. Like he's like, yo, man, look, I'm definitely gonna put him over for what he did for me. It's like it's a done deal. And then after that, we see Shawn Michaels, like the behavior that he did in '98 that got him kind of like thrown out from like being able to hang out backstage and everything like that. I think we see that ramped up towards Vince. I think he like gets worse on the drugs, worse on drinking, worse on the way that he acts backstage to a point where Vince is like, you know what? Like, I'm not even waiting for your contract to like run out. Like, bro, you just go ahead and step. I think that's where we get like he calls over at WCW, hey bro, y'all hiring over there. Like
Which I
what's
want
the
for
deal
him.
over there?
Which I want for him. Like you can send me Booker T right now. Maybe we get Booker T over there early. Or the Harlem Heat and Sherry over there early. That's a good little trade for Shawn. Look, bro. This shit is
Bro,
just so it's just so crazy how like 3 moments could just fucking because like if Shawn Michaels goes over there and Hulk Hogan they flip over, Bret Hart's damn near Dolph Ziggler right now.
bro.
Like
Yeah, I
he
mean,
never smells the World Heavyweight Championship because that steroid trial, fucking that was the catalyst of like, okay, let me put the bet on Bret Hart, even though Ric Flair was the champion. And then like the only reason why Ric Flair was fucking the champion for so long because like nigga, I'm not losing no fucking Hogan, nigga. And Hogan's like, I ain't losing to him. Like it was supposed to be Hogan versus Ric Flair at WrestleMania 8. But it was like, nah, I'm fighting Sid
neither
Justice.
one neither one wanted to do business. It's like, yo, at a point where it's like you rather fight Sid Justice than to fight like arguably, not even arguably, like the second biggest guy in the business. This is like if LeBron and KD got on the court and they was like, yo, man, look, I ain't playing that nigga over there. Like, there's no way I'm getting on the court with that man. It's just like, yo, man, just like I'm not playing.
No, I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not playing with him. Like, listen, look, who gets the most shots? Me or Hogan? You talking about Hogan gets more shots than me? Can you do a figure four? And then Hogan is like,
bro.
can you do one of these?
Exactly. It's like, yo, man, this that the fact that that this match doesn't happen until they're both extremely old in TNA is just like no, it happens in WCW.
It happened.
But I
It
mean,
was the
like,
first match. But the thing is,
yeah,
it
yeah, it happens
happened.
in WCW, but I'm like, yo, the fact that it didn't happen there when it was supposed to happen is probably one of the biggest like missed opportunities that they could have gotten to make that bad, because you have the WCW fans coming in to watch like that WrestleMania. You got your loyalist like WWF fans like staying to watch it. I don't know what I was thinking. Like that match definitely happened in WCW. Like, bro,
No, it was
I'm
no, because
young.
like
My bad.
it happened. No, it happened on Bash at the Beach, 1994. That was his first match, and that's why it was so fucking sick, because like he won, and the fact that Ric Flair was willing to do business then and not now. You know what I'm saying? When he came in, you know what I'm saying? Like he was willing to do business now at 94, but not then in 92, where everybody was in their biggest state, is hilarious to me.
I was
So,
like, bro, look, man, look, I was wilding. There was money to be made, and I was wild. That's definitely the story of like Ric Flair's life. But
look, I was listening, look, it was me and Mr. Perfect. You know what I'm saying? We was chilling. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Ultimate Warrior just came back. You know what I mean? I'm about to get the belt anyway. Like, we about to give it to Bret Hart. Like fucking like niggas doing Roy's, you know what I'm saying? Really gave Bret Hart the belt, and then really gave Shawn Michaels his first main event.
yeah,
Like,
it
because
was
that
at
shit
the
was
point where it was like, where it was kind of like, yo, we know this boat is sinking. So why don't we just throw it on these two guys? And if things end up messing up, we could always blame these two
their
guys
fault.
for the decline. Yeah, like it's
You
just
did.
one of those situations. Exactly. It's just like one of those situations like, yo, man, look, here, it's like giving the ball to like your third string quarterback and just expecting him to go out there. And if the team loses, you could always blame it on Gardner Minshew. You could always say, yo,
Hey,
he's the one
look,
that went out there and threw them interceptions. He's the one that went out there and fumbled the ball. He's the one that went out there and got folded, like, and was running into defenders when he was supposed to be scrambling in the pocket. Like, yo, it's him. Like,
blood.
he's the one you could blame for the ship sinking. Like, I think that's the reason why they did it, because like, look at Jake the Snake Roberts, right? Like, right even now, Jake the Snake Roberts was like, bro, look, man, those two guys, lowest drawing chance in history. Like, they didn't make any money. Like, they're getting slandered to this day.
Bro, and that's what's so crazy, because that was the best part of wrestling back then. Because like 90, like 90, look, niggas like 92, 93, 94, Bret Hart might be the best run for a wrestler small that could ever go on. And then 94, 95, 96, Shawn Michaels was right after that. And then like if it wasn't
Big
for
facts.
this nigga, if it wasn't for these niggas fucking juicing and shit, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? We probably wouldn't even got that shit ever, but like we almost like look, Ben, we almost got this. Look at this shit. Look how easy this is
Yo.
already. Look at the two
It
dudes
was
with
just
attitude.
like, yo, we just plug him in. It's easy. Like plugging him into that that NWO, that third man spot it's incredibly easy. Like I think like this sets it up. Like they're doing like the whole thing, like, okay, you don't know why we're here. People still think they're signed to WWF. And they kind of mention like we have a friend that's on his way. Back then, nobody knew anything like the ins and outs of the wrestling business. Somebody could get fired and they wouldn't be on TV, and you wouldn't know unless they popped up in a different company. You wouldn't know like like who for instance, like you wouldn't know that Rick Rude was like leaving WWF until you saw him pop up in WCW, because they kept all of that like airtight. Like no
Look,
one knew
Lex
any of that. So I
Luger,
think, yep,
saying it for the Lex Express. That nigga, like just like you know how many niggas would just be popping up out of nowhere? Because like I'm gonna get into it right now,
exactly.
nigga. Not time for me to get into my fucking my super brain bag. You know what I'm saying, this is what I was talking about. I call this super fantasy booking. I call this fantasy football booking, when I just pick stuff out of my air. But AEW don't exist if Shawn Michaels is the third man. They don't exist. TNA doesn't exist if Shawn Michaels is the third man, because I think I said this before. I've said this on previous episodes about Bret Hart. I was like, if it was Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels switching spots and they were going to WCW, I think Shawn Michaels was more equipped to carry a company than Bret Hart was because, especially with this shit being the third man, I got not just two of my boys because fucking six was there. So Waltman was there. So now it's just me and my three partners. And when we're just fucking taking in whoever we want to do, because like at the end of the day, like nigga, it's still about the business. We're still trying to get some money. Like even though Kevin Nash was a booker, like I think Shawn Michaels would just be like, listen, dog, I can do whatever the fuck I want now. And then he has Bischoff who he can just fucking control.
That's what I think. I think WCW still goes down the same way. Not, I think it still goes down the same way that it did. I think like because you got to look at it. There's nobody over there to babysit Shawn Michaels. Like Kevin Nash and Scott Hall are gonna let him do whatever he wants to do. No one's over there like Vince was over there. Like, hey man, look, like he did what he wanted to do with Vince, but it was to a point where Vince was like, even like, hey man, look, you gotta kind of chill. Like, bro, you can't just be going out here yelling backstage at guys and just be like throwing shit around. Like, you gotta like wilding. I don't think he has that in WCW. Look at Eric Bischoff's track record with like putting in discipline to his bigger stars because he look at the way he let the NWO walk all over him. I think Shawn Michaels goes over there, and I think like since they're not like on him about the drugs and the alcohol and everything like that, I think that would have been his ultimate undoing. But we're kind of jumping the gun
Yeah.
here. Like, let's shoot back to the bash at the beach.
So like imagine Shawn Michaels pulling up a 1996 Bash at the Beach. And then like the third man, because like first off, it wouldn't have been like, yo, what's Hogan doing here? Like it had just been like, you know what I'm saying, guess who the third man is, y'all? Third man is, you know what I'm saying, the beats. It's less.
Yeah, it's definitely like, yo, it's definitely, I think, like a more, not a bigger pop, but a more like I think like when he goes down there, everybody ultimately knows what he's doing there. Like it's not like, I think like instead of walking down the ramp and getting that moment and everything like that, I think like he just jumps the barricade. Or like he was chilling underneath the ring or something like that. And then he gets in there and like it takes people a minute to like catch up and like, yo, is that Shawn Michaels? Is that? And they're like, no, that can't be Shawn Michaels. Like, he's still signed to WWF. And then Bobby the Brain Heenan is like, nah, man, he ain't signed there no more. Like I heard it this morning. Like he ended up leaving. They ended up cutting his contract or whatever. And now he's over here. And then Shawn Michaels gets on the mic and just tells people like, yo, man, look, I'm over here now. Like, bro, they didn't want to do what I wanted to do, so I left. Like, I think he definitely puts himself over in that promo the way Hulk Hogan did, not in the same type of way. Like, yo, I think he says like, not I'm bored right here, but I was bored over there to kind of make himself look good. And it was like they didn't know what they wanted to do with me, so I decided to book it over here.
But here's the crazy thing. I think Shawn Michaels could have delivered the exact same promo that Homo did. I mean that Hogan did. Excuse me. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying we'll bleep that out. You know what I mean, shout out to the LGBTQ community. And but if Hogan, like if he gives that Hogan promo, it's the exact. I think it hits more because it's Shawn Michaels giving it. And then like us, and like we had just did the curtain call. Like the curtain calls we got Triple H in trouble. Say none of us. You know what I'm saying? Because like let's get into our real shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he goes over there, Paul Levesque is over there, even though he's been over there. He's back over there.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like he's like when it comes down, like after he served out his time for the curtain call, he definitely like puts in the word with Shawn Michaels. Like, hey, bro, look, my contract coming up. I'm trying to be over there too. Like, look, man, like y'all hiring over there.
Bro,
Like, I
and then
think like, but
I don't think niggas understand how gullible them WCW niggas was back then. Because Nash and Hall was getting over on them. Like Hogan had been doing whatever he wanted anyway. Hogan had a fucking Deshaun Watson contract in 1994. You know what I mean? Like I got 70 million guaranteed, you know what I'm saying? And I can go do movies and you can watch this stupid ass Thunder in Paradise show that I hate. I'm saying with a fucking indestructible boat. Like who the fuck makes a show about an indestructible boat? And then Hogan is the one that drives it, nigga. Hogan can't even drive his own family, but you can drive a fucking indestructible boat. All right, below whatever. So like, listen, if he ain't there, and I could just do whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? I'm bringing all my niggas with me because like Hogan brought I brought Macho Man over. I brought, you know what I'm saying, the Booty Man over. Who I mean, you know what I'm saying, that's like, you know what I'm saying, it's like bringing Pat Bev over. You know what I'm saying? Like you got the Booty Man over there. Like understand, like a lot of people that came over here just on my word, and I just don't think that. I think Shawn Michaels just pulls the ultimate, like LeBron. It's like, yeah, I'm bringing all my friends with me. You know what I'm saying? Me and Clutch Sports, and then for sure they're not called the NWO. They're the Click. So imagine wearing them Click shirts instead of the NWO shirts, and it's just this instead of the NWO. Like everything could be fucking flipped on this. Like, man,
Yeah, man. Like,
maybe it worked out for the best, but maybe
yeah, it
not.
definitely worked. It definitely, I feel like things definitely worked out of the best because, like I said, like they would have let Shawn Michaels, like after he gets over in that run, like I think like since Hall and Nash are already like a tag team, the obvious choice is like, okay, let's put the belt on Shawn Michaels. They rush to put the belt on him like they kind of do Hogan. And he has the belt and has that run, but you have no one to put him in check. He does the stuff that he was gonna do with Brett, but he does it on a much, much bigger scale. Like he's out there, like they're like, okay, well, you got to put over Sting at what's the name of the big paper? You got to put over Sting at Starcade, like, bro.
Yeah,
And he's like, yo, man,
Slamboree or
look,
something.
yeah, he's like, yo, man, Starcade, I'm putting like you got to put over Sting, and he's like, no, bro, like fuck that, I'm not putting over Sting, like, bro, I will not show up before I put over Sting. And at that point, you have like Eric Bischoff at the point where he's kind of like at the mercy of Shawn Michaels and at the mercy of the NWO because like he gave the book to the NWO and told them basically do what y'all want to do. I trust y'all. Y'all got this. Like he gave them everything that they wanted. I think like Shawn Michaels jumps the gun on that and kind of gets that power earlier. And I'm gonna even like go out on a limb. I think the death of WCW comes a year earlier than it did originally
2000.
because I think it comes in the year 2000. I think I think Shawn Michaels goes over there and like he kills it because it's just like, yo, he has no one to put him in check. Like even Hulk Hogan, like Hulk Hogan was like a piece of shit when he went over there. He didn't know what he was doing, and he took the book, and all of them really took the book and had no idea what they were doing except for like stuffing the money in their pockets. But at some point, like near the end, Hulk Hogan was like, "We kind of got to save this. We kind of got to like,
It's too
we
late,
kind of got to
nigga.
like
This is
right the
your
ship."
fault.
Exactly. It was at that point, but I think like we get to that point with Shawn Michaels where Shawn Michaels isn't like in that mode of like we gotta kind of like backtrack, kind of repair some of this. I think he's kind of like, you know what? He's so like into the drugs and the alcohol and everything like that, where he's just like, you know what? I don't really care about this. Like, give me like when WCW is like gonna close its doors, I think like he takes that check
And then I just
and
don't
he's
come
just
back until
like, yo,
2004.
yeah, he just doesn't come back until like I think like he doesn't come back for like until like you said 2004 until that contract runs out and they do like the whole NWO invasion thing. But on the flip side, what's going on in WWF, like we get that Hulk Hogan heel turn because obviously the crowd wasn't rocking with it. The crowd wasn't liking it. But instead of like him doing like the NWO,
What did we get?
because I don't know if anybody's ever read this, but Hulk Hogan was offered to be the leader of DX. Like he was given that, like they offered him like, hey man, you want to come back and do DX? I think we get Hulk Hogan as the
Put this
leader
on
of
him.
D
Oh,
Generation X. And
oh, oh.
instead of him saying like, yo, suck it, I think he's like stick. I think like it's like I think we get that in there. I'm not gonna like we have to do another episode on like who's in that DX. But
Yeah,
who do you think is like not to get in like the whole like members and everything like that because I still think we get China in there. But who do you
you
think
gotta
is
bring
like
you bringing
who
your
do you think
partners
is
with you.
exactly like who is his like who's his Triple H?
Hey, you know what I think the DX fucking slogan is if Hulk Hogan's running the shit is what you gonna do? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? And just leave it at that. You know what I
It's
mean?
either that or stick it, because he was saying that a lot, like
Yeah.
a lot. He was like, "Stick it, brother."
Yeah, stick it, brother. Like, what you gonna do? Nothing, bro. It's gonna be him. It's gonna be because like no matter like, 'cause what I'm saying, he's like the like fucking Brutus the Barber Beefcake is fucking like he's the monster that fucking Hulk Hogan created, like Damon Jones was Shaq. So like no matter where he goes, you know what I'm saying, he's coming with me. You know what I mean? You're coming with me. You know what I'm saying? Like they're probably gonna bring like I could see this like it could be like on some evolution shit like because like if you really want to get really deep to go back into the WCW part, I think if Shawn Michaels is there, we don't get no crow sting. We don't get no crow sting.
I think like I think we, you know what? That's one on itself. Do we get Crow Sting if they end up coming over there? I think we get Crow Sting, but I think Shawn Michaels kind of like steps on it. I think like he kind of like in so many words undresses the character like what he like the little like promos that he would do with Bret Hart when he was like, "Yo man, look, you back there getting in with you get back there getting in with Sonny." I think like he does that with like Crow Sting, like kind of basically like, "Yo, you stole your whole gimmick from the movie The Crow," and it kind of like the people like in the audience who already knew that are kind of like, "Yo, he's right." And then he ends up having to go
Damn, like
back to Surface Thing. I
damn.
think we get Crow Sting for like maybe a year and a half, but Shawn Michaels kind of undresses him in front of the crowd, and it's like, "Yo, all right, I guess we got to go back to Surface Thing."
Bro, like good. Like I think Eric Bischoff gets a lot of slack, a lot of flack for being the ultimate players coach. He's like Steve Nash with the Nets this year before he got fired because he just let the niggas do whatever they want. But it's like, I mean, do what you want. You know what I'm saying? Long as scoring 102 points a game, nigga, we good. So like, I think just Shawn Michaels being the ultimate get over artist, bruh. Like that nigga just like I don't think Crow Sting even exists. Like I think the cruiserweight division, like the one good thing. I'm saying let's not fucking shit on this shit. One good thing about this shit, I think Shawn Michaels is going to get in that cruiserweight division because one thing that them niggas knew how to see, they knew how to see the future for wrestling, and then like
Oh yeah, yeah.
the cruiserweight division, especially with Shawn Michaels not being that much over cruiserweight, even though when he was juicing, he said he was at 230, and so like 205 is really nothing. Even though Super Callow, that nigga Super Callow had to be at least 247. And Conan's like 239 right now. So like I think he'd have been working with them cruiserweight niggas. I think a lot of them cruiserweight niggas would have been in that fucking group. Like we probably would have seen a maskless. Like he probably would have been a Juventud guy because like Shawn Michaels and Juventud seem like the fucking parallel versions of each other.
Yo, yo, I that is a great analogy, man.
Yo, bro,
That is
yo,
like
Shawn Michaels,
amazing.
yo,
I've
Juventud,
never,
yo,
wow, they,
they're the exact same nigga, blood. Except
bro,
one does the
they
4% splash.
wow, they did kind of move like each other. Like Juventud was like not above telling people like, "Yo, man, look, you ain't shit. Like, do you see me out there in the ring every night? Like, you see what I'm doing out there? Mask, no mask, I'm still out there like getting like, I'm still at like, yo, that's why they call me Juicy, bro."
Bruh, they call me the juice for a reason. All right, I literally stole like he stole the Michinoku driver and started and called the Hoovy driver. Like soon as Tacha Michinoku won the fucking the light heavyweight title, he was like, I think that was a Bischoff move. We were like, yo man, start doing the fucking Michinoku driver and call it the Hoovy driver. Like,
Yo,
okay, so
wow.
Shawn Michaels probably has a whole bunch of crews. Like Shawn, I think Shawn Michaels can build a better NWO than Hogan ever did, and there wouldn't have been
I
no
think,
split up.
yeah, I do think like ultimately, like he would have like put the cruiserweights like on a higher level if he was doing it because he recognizes like, yo, man, when I was in Rock and Roll Express, I was down to that size too, and he kind of sees himself in a lot of like these high flyers. And you're completely right. Like Shawn Michaels was like an asshole in the '90s and everything like that, but he did have an eye for some of those things. Same thing with like X Pac and everything like that. Like X Pac is revered as one of like the most like genius wrestlers of all time
Yeah,
and
he's
doesn't get
Kidman.
like the credit.
He doesn't. Like
Exactly.
they said they used to measure how good a nigga was gonna be, and they put him in there with Waltman. Said put him in there with Waltman and see how he do, because like Waltman's gonna make you look good no matter what. And if you can't look good with him, you can't look good with nobody.
Yo,
And
big facts, bro.
like a lot of niggas that got up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Haku. You know what I'm saying? He got up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Shane Douglas too, the franchise. He went no free.
I
He was Steve Francis when he was over in WWE. You know what I'm saying?
But do you think Bret Hart still makes the jump to WCW, or you think he cuts his losses and decides to stay in WWF? I was like, yo, man, look, I'm not going all the way over there to deal with that guy like Shawn Michaels, and he has the reins of the entire company, and I know how like he was getting down over here. You think he like ends up like staying with like I'll do business with
Oh, I
Bret
like
Hart.
this.
I mean, not Bret Hart
With Shawn Michaels.
Hulk Hogan, I guess.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
let me rub my hands real quick. You know what I'm saying? Because like I think, you know what I mean, I think the lesser of two evils, because I think he'd have been in a rock and a hard place, especially if Shawn went over there first and then he was still there with fucking prime fucking douchebag Hogan. Like I think that high ass Shawn Michaels will welcome him over there. Like, well, because I think no matter what they want to say, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels are the perfect opponents. Like, they're exactly like you seen
Oh.
that in 1992. So, like, I think if Shawn like hits up Bret, was like, yo, man, how's it going over there since I left? He was like, man, this nigga Hogan out here. Like, I think it'd have been just like what Hogan was gonna do, but Bret, like, this nigga Bret's
Oh.
been hating. He's been hating Hogan nigga since '93, dog. You know what I'm saying? So the hate scar is gonna be there, and then now you're back. So you're back now, and I hate you.
Yeah. Wow. I think like wow, that's a really good point. So he could end up coming over there and he's just like, you know what? I guess I'll just go over there and deal with him. And I do think like you're right. Shawn Michaels would definitely be like, yo, man, look, I was being like I was an asshole over there, but an asshole without direction. Like now I have a direction on what I'm gonna do. Like I like yo, I'm still that same dude, but I want to make money now. And so
Yeah,
I do
but
think I think we get that match instead of like a Starcade, like what was supposed to be Hulk Hogan, not Hulk Hogan, yeah, supposed to be Hulk Hogan versus like Sting. I think we get Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels for that world
instead of
title.
1 year later, and then like we don't get like a fucking like because like people give like HBK gets a fucking bad like he'll do business if I, you know what I'm saying? Like he's never been down not to do business. I'm just not doing it with the niggas I don't want to do. And like as much as he said about Bret, you know what I'm saying? Bret was a fucking douchebag. He only cared about himself more than anything, even though I care about myself more. And I think that he was like, if he can fucking, I think he would. I think at that point, especially a year in to the fucking NWO, and that he just been running rep shot, like he would need some structure. You know what I'm saying? And then like I think Bret would be like that. You know how you get that veteran leader, or like you know what I'm saying, like kind of like how the Cavaliers this year were like, remember how they were good, but then they got Donovan Mitchell, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh well shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas are a contender. Like if he was to get Bret then, especially at his highest, at both their highest, you know what I'm saying, and both uses of the word, you know what I'm saying, and I think there will be way more because like even when like they fell out, they didn't fall out until after HBK got the belt, and then Brett took that fucking sabbatical.
Yeah.
He took that sabbatical to do fucking Lonesome Dove. Like who?
Yeah, shout out to Lonesome Dove, man. I love Lonesome Dove, but
Yo. So I don't think that like. Can you imagine HBK in Thunder in Paradise?
yo,
I'm watching it.
bruh, I think like yeah, man, I do think like Bret Hart going over there. I still think he ends up like I think like eventually Shawn Michaels kind of gets tired of wrestling Bret and he just kind of like pawns him off on Goldberg. And I think he still ends up sustaining that like that injury that puts him out. Like some things like this, like not everything can be different. Some things got to stay the same. I do think like he ends up still having the run in with Goldberg. I think Shawn Michaels like, yo, I'm not wrestling that nigga. You wrestling him.
And here's the thing with me though. Like here's what I think. Like if Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart's over there together, first off, they're both getting high. You know what I'm saying? Because high ass Shawn Michaels seems like a real cool ass nigga to hang out with. And then Bret Hart and Bret Hart drunk as fuck on fucking brown liquor is apparently the coolest nigga to ever fucking walk in the lace of a pair of boots. So I think them niggas just be able to do that shit all day. That nigga Goldberg does not exist, nigga.
Oh
You want to have
wow.
you want to have a streak, nigga, against who? Who he fighting? Nah, blood, he ain't beat me. Well, he ain't beat me either. Let's go, Shawn. We ain't even got to be
I
in the
think
NWO.
like
You could damn near do the NWO Wolfpack with Bret Hart, you know what I'm saying? Because they're already perfectly natural rivals.
Oh yeah, you're right, because like look at the way they put Randy Savage in there, and him and Hulk Hogan been having beef for like years upon years. What do you think? What do you think Randy Savage lies? Do you think like he gets out of there and goes back to WWF, or do you think he ends up staying and is like, yo, I'm gonna join the NWO too? Because I still think the NWO gets those numbers that they got,
Oh yeah.
but instead of like a lot of those guys being like in the like immediate group like Savage, I think like since like Shawn Michaels kind of gravitates towards like the those guys who were doing like the worst stuff, I think instead of like Randy Savage being in like that first like tier of NWO, I think it's like I think it's what is his name? God darn.
Two Cold Scorpion.
Buff Bagwell. I think Buff Bagwell gets in that. I think Buff Bagwell gets in
Oh,
that first tier. I
I
think he
think
ends up getting that first tier.
I think
And
Buff
Mr. Perfect.
Bagwell. Yeah, I think Buff. Yeah, I think well, Mr. Perfect's gonna go with fucking Bret Hart's fucking rendition of fucking the Wolfpack. I think it probably called the Cloverleaf Pack or some shit. Like it probably damn near called the Foundation, the FWO. You know what I mean? Where you just grabs a whole bunch of them niggas over there, like Davey. Like we grab Davey when he gets fired. I grab Owen soon as his contract is up, nigga. He coming with me, and then we don't have no fucking over the edge 1999. I think if he's over there because Owen's over there early. I think I think that I think they're just the perfect natural rivals. And if you needed to do, I don't know, man. If you wanted to do like because I think they can fight each other like 100 times, the same way like he was talking about the Usos in the New Day. Like you can they can fight each other 100 times, and it's gonna be great. But I think Macho Man, I think he's gonna go because like the reason why he left the WWF in the first place because he wanted to fucking do a match with fucking Shawn Michaels, and niggas wasn't trying to do that. It was like, nigga, you need to commentate, which is why he fucking ran. This is shout out to WrestleMania 9. I'm saying the backbone of this fucking podcast. Like he ran JR into the ground on WrestleMania 9. And every time he had to do some commentary, nigga, like, listen, somebody's gonna have to get the smoke. It's either gonna be Bobby Heenan or him. And Heenan can handle it. But JR was new. So I think we get like I think he stays over there with Macho. I mean with the WCW because like I mean like there's more competition over there. I don't want to fight like I hate Hogan, so I don't want to be anywhere where he's going to be at. The only reason why I even
Yo,
only reason why I went over there because he offered me was like, blood, they over here offering nigga like $5 million, nigga, to do nothing.
I
He was like,
think like I'm gonna have to say that I think like he ends up having the match with Shawn Michaels, kind of sees like, yo, man, look, he's not worth the headache to do a full scale rivalry with him because they did have like a dark match in WWF, and it's like this is a completely different guy than what I knew over there, and it's kind of like, yo, he's a monster right now. I think he does end up going back to WWF and kind of like putting in like the word with like with Hogan, not with Hogan, but with Vince, and Vince is like, okay, come on back, and I think he ends up going and being like in DX.
no, but we can go. Let's go really deep, nigga, because like remember them fucking Hawkster Nacho Man commercials with billionaire Ted. You know what I'm saying back in 1996. Those don't happen because you're here. So I can see Eric Bischoff doing the exact same fucking commercials with them. Niggas like, hey, look at these old motherfuckers over there. You know what I'm saying? Doing the same shit. You know what I mean? But we got the new breed over here. Like think about the new breed being over at WCW, which is what they had with the cruiserweight division and everybody over there. I'm saying prime Chris Jericho, which was probably like prime Chris Jericho at WCW was like John Morant right now. I'm saying he would just run around just dunking on niggas, doing the best that he could, making niggas look good all at the same time. So Chris Jericho probably doesn't leave because he probably going to want to stay there because Shawn Michaels will get it like Shawn Michaels going to get in the ring and get down with anybody if you just show him the proper. I'm saying the proper kind of,
Yo,
you know what I mean, the
it's
proper kind of,
definitely
like all right, you know what I'm saying,
you
you Shawn.
you you definitely got to bow down to him in a way that like, because you could bow down to Hulk Hogan and you can like be like, oh yeah, man, you the goat, and he would be like, yeah, I know I am. Get out of my locker room. Shawn Michaels would have been like, yo, man, look, bro, I am the GOAT. Like, come on, bro, let's get
Yeah.
in the ring and let's talk about it.
Yo, I've been watching you for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like he was talking about how he used to watch fucking Triple H when he was fucking Jean Paul Levesque and he was terrorizing the shit. I remember seeing him. He said, I remember seeing Vinny Vegas when he was Vinny Vegas. I thought he was hilarious. I just thought the nigga was funny, and I just wanted him over here. And then I'm saying the rest is history. So like I think like bruh, this is the greatest episode ever of anything.
Like and like like I don't know if you're ready to cap it, but in on my side of things, I do think like I said earlier, I think Shawn Michaels drives WCW into the ground a year early in a way that's different from the way that Hulk Hogan did it. I think Hulk Hogan's was like, I'm gonna bleed this company dry. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I still kind of want to keep the doors open. I think Shawn Michaels gets to the point where he's like, yo, man, look, I don't care if we keep the doors open. I don't care what's going on. I'm the greatest, and I know I can land and do any. I know I can do anything that I want to do. I think he ends up killing WCW a year earlier, and like you said, ends up coming back in 2004 and has that match. I think he ends up having a match with The Rock. I think we get that match at WrestleMania instead of like the Hulk Hogan match like against The Rock, because I think we would have already gotten that match like 2 or 3 times over in WWF by then. It's like the intrigue is like, okay, well, because obviously they're not coming over. Like Shawn Michaels is another one of those guys who was like, yo, man, look, I'm about the money. So when they offer him like, yo, AOL is like, yo, man, look, do you want to sit on the couch until like this contract runs out, or do you want to like end up saying no to it and go and working at WWF? I think he ends up saying like, yo, man, give me the money, comes back in. Hulk Hogan, on the other hand, I think like he ends up going like doing that run, that whole like DX run. I think that fizzles out. I think like, yo, the crowd is not into it. I think the way that he was booked in like that DX sort of setting was like corny to the crowd. And so they kind of have to like break him out of it. I think he gets like I think like he builds up Triple H. I do think like I think Triple H goes over to WCW. And well, I don't think he goes. Yeah, Triple H goes over to WCW. We already established that. Where am I thinking? I think like instead of like putting you get that Triple H run, I think he might end up giving that to like. I think he ends up doing business earlier with Stone Cold. I think Stone like he's the one that puts over Stone Cold. I do think like Vince is like, okay, well, you know, like bro, look, I'm thankful you didn't rat me out to the feds, but we got to make money here, bro. Like we're being killed every week in the ratings by WCW. You're gonna have to do something different. I think we get that like that big like run from Stone Cold a year earlier, and I think that's a contributing factor to the death of WCW like a year earlier. I do think like we get that sooner.
Yeah, I think I completely 1000% agree with you with Shawn Michaels just running this shit into a wall. You know what I'm saying? A year earlier. I think instead, because like kind of like with WCW, we're gonna end it right here. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm saying thank y'all for being here. You know what I mean? This is you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? There might or might not be a game about to start of any proportion. So who knows? But we know, and then y'all don't. So but I think like I think like when WCW does crash and burn, I think it crashes and burn as a fucking Ferrari. I think Shawn Michaels just crashes it when it's at its highest instead of just like slowly dying.
Yeah,
because like I think Shawn Michaels was more prepared for the Stone Cold the Stone Cold Steve Austin run more than anybody. And the only thing that stopped that shit from being like the biggest that it could was the back injury. And then we won't get no back injury. We won't get no back injury if he's in is either NWO, right? If it's a 3 heartbeats and not NWO for life, you know what I mean? We don't get no back injury, which probably means we'll get no save Shawn Michaels, which probably means there's a part 2 coming up, y'all.
Yeah.
Look at that. See, that's how you got to end that shit. You feel me? You got to end that shit on a motherfucking cliffhanger. I learned that shit in theater class.
Yeah.
But man, at the end of the day, what happened? Will
At the
NWO
end of
be
the
bigger than what it
day,
is? Will NWO be bigger than what it is if Shawn Michaels was running it?
I think everything. I think the version that we got was probably the best case scenario. Like, if I'm gonna be completely honest, like Shawn Michaels going over and being the third man would have been interesting, but ultimately we wouldn't have gotten a lot of stuff that we ended up getting. Like, it would have been cool, but like I said, Shawn Michaels going over there and getting the reins completely, I think it would have been like, not only like they would, like we said, like they would have killed WCW a year earlier. I think it would have ended up being like a much more dangerous situation for him, because honestly, that back injury that he sustained was probably the best thing that ever happened to him. Not only like for wrestling, because we ended up like getting the whole Stone Cold run, but I think that was the best thing that happened for his like life completely, because he took a step back and like ended up like getting a family, ended up coming to God, ended up like switching his life around. I think if he stays in the NWO, I don't think I'm not going to say I don't think like he ends up doing that, because he ultimately, the reason why he ended up doing that is because he married his wife and she was like a devoted Christian or whatever, and she ended up getting him into that. I'm not saying that he doesn't convert, but I'm saying that he doesn't convert as soon, and that we're kind of waiting a little bit longer for him to like kind of like get it together. I think like that whole
Or
change like happens before
uh-huh.
our eyes, and it's kind of like he comes back to WWF, and it's just like, this is the same guy that was doing, like, this is the same prick that was over here before, and we kind of have
Yeah.
to like wait a year or two for him to like convert.
Or you know what I'm saying, because you know what I'm saying, his wife, you know what I'm saying, Mrs. Hickenbottom, she's a Nitro girl. Did he catch her early?
Yeah.
And then he get saved early?
Oh,
You know what I mean? Yo,
that's a good one.
part two, y'all.
Wow.
We're ending it right now, y'all, because this is what we do. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna end it right now. Part two will be on the way. You know what I'm saying, what if Shawn Michaels wasn't saved? You know what I mean? Coming up. Y'all feel me?
Wow.
Yo, your brain's been turned inside out right now, because mine
Wow.
is. You know what I mean? Like, this is what
Wow. That is
this
a
is what the
good one.
this is what the show is all about, y'all. Nation of Imagination, where you get to use your imagination. This is the only thing that keeps us going. This is the most purest thing that we have. This is the only thing in the world that's free right now, because you have to pay for water and you're paying for air. I heard about you niggas over there getting air at Vegas and shit, needing IVs of air and shit like that. So listen, part two's on the way, but we're gonna end it right here. I know, but like, I just made that up just now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. We don't even know what we're doing. This is why this shit show is great. But
This is just like a free form thinking spot. I like it. I like it.
yo, this is like this is wrestling's open forum. This is wrestling's clubhouse. You know what I'm saying? So tune into Nation of Imagination. You know what I'm saying? Pay that money. You know what I'm saying? So you can get the wrestling clubhouse. So you can talk about wrestling crap. You know what I'm saying? Also, so you can hear fucking get into your fucking. Oh my god! When I hop on Ben shit and we talk about this shit, it's gonna be fucking hilarious. You know what I mean?
Thanks,
But
bro.
listen, I appreciate you guys for listening to me. I've been wanting to do this. I promise you, my the camera's gonna get better. They just didn't have the cord at Best Buy when I went for the last 5 days, and then they told me that the fucking cord comes in tomorrow, and I'm like, well, it better be here tomorrow. But like, yeah, man, but we don't know. Sometimes we just get DVDs. I'm like, nigga, who's buying DVDs? Who the fuck is buying DVDs? Jonathan.
Bro. Yo, man. But yeah, man. Like, y'all be on the lookout, man. Because we're just like, yo, like what CJ said, we're doing things like we're slowly but surely, not even slowly, like we're updating the visuals, the sounds, the look of it to kind of give you guys a more professional kind of feel. Like, if you haven't noticed, like in the last few episodes we've done, the video has been clear. Our mics have been clear. We've been talking over each other much less than we had before. Everybody's getting their own space and everything like that. Like, we're trying to improve it, and we thank you guys for sticking beside us through the ups and the downs and giving us your feedback, and like continue like to be a part of this. So we thank you guys. Thank you for subscribing to the Patreon. Thank you for following us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at the Enemies P3. Thank you for joining the Discord, joining the Facebook group, And most importantly, like paying your hard-earned money to hear us talk about dumb shit like for an hour.
Bro, because like at the end of the day, when we first got into this shit, this was the part that we wanted to do, was to get over here and to be able to talk whatever we're going to talk about, and knowing that y'all going to listen to us anyway because y'all love us, and guess what, we love y'all back. So please keep, like you said, subscribe to the Patreon, any tier, whether you want to be in one of them 360 deals like saying like Prime Soldier Boy, or you want one of them saying one of them good ass, you know what I'm saying, little yachty deals that he got right now. You know what I'm saying? Like either way, like we appreciate every single part of you guys, and I promise you, it's only going up from here. But this is another episode of the Nation of Imagination. I am Hemi Uso, aka at Yeah That's Me. Follow me everywhere over there. That's my this is my little brother, you know what I'm saying, with a better intuition and brain than I am. I'm saying at that age, you know what I'm saying, which is why I'm like, yo, thank God, you know what I'm saying, because I need that. I need that innocence. But he's also down for me, you know what I'm saying, to get super ignorant with me. He's not even gonna ask me no questions. So that's what I'm also down for too. So I want to thank you, my brother, for first off coming on here and doing this with me, because you know what I mean, I'm be a little erratic, you know what I mean. I might have asked you, you know what I'm saying, 3 times when I was drunk, and then you were just like, yeah, nigga, whatever. So I really
Yeah,
appreciate you.
man.
And part 2 is on the way. Part 2 is on the way. Follow us everywhere.
Oh,
And
man.
we're gonna
Just
end
like
it. You know
that,
what I'm
bro.
saying? Yo, end it. You know what I'm saying? Take care of yourselves. I just play. I ain't going to say that shit. That's Graham shit. You know what I mean? He gonna get all mad and shit. He like, oh, you say about shit. I'm like, yo, man, shut up, nigga. But yeah, man,
Hey, yo,
listen.
man.
Listen tomorrow, listen yesterday, listen today, listen next week, next month. But listen, we're gonna be in your ears whether you like it or not. So haha. See y'all later.